take care of it. Hi, I didn't mean to say that in the microphone. Okay, they need to put me in a freaking smaller room if this is all I get. Jesus Christ.
Probably get more as people come on. Love you. Still love you. Kage.
You're sweet, thank you very much. But I've always maintained that I've never insisted on main stage. I've never insisted on anything. If you want to give me stage time, that's great. The only thing I ask for is one empty seat in the audience, and there's far too many empty seats here. That means you probably want somebody younger and more dynamic to tell you stories next year. I'm just... I know. Oh, aren't you sweet? But we still have 1 minute and 40 seconds to go. Because remember, where I come from, everything starts on time. Ask the AV crew back there because they're saying it's that motherfucker up there. By the way, oh, wait, that's right, this is an 18+ con. I can say anything I want. Yeah! I can say that. Okay, I'm all fine. You don't want to know. Trust me, you don't want to know what's up here. Oh, I'm going to put Mr. Skullhead over here if that's okay. I don't think I need to be holding him. Besides, I'm going to need this hand free. Yeah, give me a smaller room next year. That's fine. Come on in. There's plenty of seats. There's plenty of seats. Yes, we start on... They have a countdown timer here. I'm watching it. We have 25 seconds to go. By the way, I don't know if furry trainers... These lights are very bright. I don't know if furry trainers in the audience, but furry trainer gave me this magnificent bottle of Dr. Lotion. Oh, yeah, there you go. Hello, darling. I got the shit.
I got the shit.
Oh, that's why I like furry trainers. There we go. All right. We're starting. And, okay, if you were here during the improv, yeah, you saw me doing Springtime for Hitler. It was just Springtime for Hitler and Germany. Go ahead, screen cap that, put it on, say Uncle Kage's a Nazi. Fuck you, I don't care. I'm going to quote the gentleman who wrote that piece and who had the bravery to put that out there. When Mel Brooks first unleashed Springtime for Hitler on the world, people said, how could you do that? How could you possibly make fun of something so horrific? Guys, I have to remind you how comedy works. Because Mel Brooks is actually a mentor to me. Not personally, he's never met me, which is to my undying sadness. But I have always learned from Mr. Brooks. Mel Brooks is himself a Jew. He fought in World War II. How could you make fun of those ghastly events? And what Mr. Brooks said was, Adolf Hitler's power came from his ability to hypnotize the masses, from his oratory skills, from his power over the crowd. By reducing him to the role of a clown, I am taking his power away and making him the object of ridicule. So before I begin my story hour, I just want to leave you with that right now. Because in this world of ours today, in these uncertain days, in these scary moments when none of us really are sure what to expect. The world is very different from what it was even 5 years ago. You can always look to the comics. Always look to the funny men, because we are the ones who steal the power from the thunderous voices and make them objects of ridicule which they deserve to be. My name is Dr. Samuel Conway. I am known to the furry fandom as Uncle Kage. I still don't know why. Some of you may know me. I've been the chairman of Anthrocon since before I was born. Apparently, I don't know. You might, if you got here early, I was talking to some of the crew up here. Running a furry convention, even a small furry convention, can be very challenging, as you can imagine. If you were here yesterday, you might notice there are some challenges that come up. But what I've always said to furry convention organizers are, dude, shit's gonna happen. It's gonna happen. You can't stop it. The measure of a convention is how you react to shit when it happens. Yesterday, some big shit happened, and Motor City FurCon rose to the occasion and did a spectacular job. My hat is off to you. One of the challenges I faced with Anthrocon was in our early days, we used to handle logistics, if you will, the movement of equipment. We took the same model that science fiction conventions had been using since time immemorial. Okay, I have a giant truck filled of shit. I need volunteers. Hello, volunteers, help us take the shit from the truck and put it here. That seemed to work. What could possibly go wrong with that? Until the one year that no volunteers showed up. It was me and two very, very enthusiastic but tired fellows. We drove from Pittsburgh back to Philadelphia. And if you've ever taken that trip, it means traveling across the Pennsylvania Turnpike, which if you've ever seen Mad Max, it's very similar. It is. Trust me, I'm a Pennsylvanian. I know how that shit works. These two sons of bitches drove with me across the state of Pennsylvania. We got to Philadelphia to unload 7.5 tons of equipment. Just like that. That's what it sounded like. We were up until about 2 in the morning. Three fellas, three broken down guys. We unloaded all this crap. And the next day, I took them to breakfast. And I was sitting at breakfast like this. You've seen this look. And these fellas, well-meaning though they were, said, you know, you're going about this the wrong way. You cannot continue doing this. You can't just rely on volunteers. What you need a dedicated logistics staff. You need actual staff members whose job is to, and they're talking about how logistics should be handled, and I did this. You're hired. And they said, but what's it? Too late. You're hired. Because that's how you get to be staff at Anthrocon. Look competent in my line of sight. That's how you get to be a staff member. So these fine fellas have been doing logistics. Their first year, they did an incredible job. They did yeoman's work. And if you don't know what that means, it's what old people say. Jesus fuck, look it up. You got the Google shit, goddamn kids. Anyway, they did yeoman's work. And 3 days after the convention, I got an email from the director of the David L. Lawrence Convention Center in Pittsburgh, where Anthrocon is held, saying, "What would you like us to do with all this stuff?" I said, "Stuff?" And I forwarded the email to my brand new logistics crew, and I simply wrote in it, "Stuff!" To this day, the Anthrocon logistics team is known as the Stuff Crew. Apparently, some stuff had gotten left behind. And when I wrote to the convention center, "How do you know it's ours?" And they said, "Well, it's in big boxes with Anthrocon stenciled on it." And I said, "Are you sure it's not the other Anthrocon?" For a number of years, we would still hire the rental truck. We would go to Penske or whatever, the big yellow truck, and we would rent the truck. And that was how we would get our stuff from Philadelphia, where I lived, out to Pittsburgh, which is on the other side of the state. And if you're unfamiliar with the geography of Pennsylvania, let me give it to you right now. Pennsylvania is Philadelphia on this side, Pittsburgh on this side, and Alabama in the middle. Yeah. We used to rent these trucks. And that worked okay. Until one year, we got onto the turnpike and there was a Pennsylvania state trooper doing this sort of thing. Okay, we pulled over. And the Pennsylvania state trooper said, "Excuse me," I was driving just like this. I looked just like this. Without the lab coat, of course, I looked just like this. "Where are you off to today?" And I said, "Well, we're going to Pittsburgh." He said, "What do you have in the truck?" I said, "We've got art show equipment, we've got this, and we got amazing stuff. We're going to have a great furry convention." You know what furry is? Oh, let me explain what furry is to you. I'm going to take 10 minutes to tell you what furry is all about. And I told him all about furry and all the stuff we're doing. And he said, "That's nice. I'd like to see your medical card, your DOT number." And I said, "What?" He said, "I need to see your medical card, your DOT number, oh, and your commercial driver's license." I said, "Let me get back to you for a second." I called up. We were renting from Enterprise at the time. "Okay, there's a cop here. He wants to see my medical." "What the fuck is he talking about? Just help me out. What am I supposed to tell him?" And Enterprise said, "Tell him you don't need those." Got it. "I don't need those." "Step out of the truck, sir, please." Yeah, that one. I stepped out of the truck, and he explained to me that if you rent a truck to move some shit from your Aunt Martha's barn to your house, that's fine. But if you're a business, you are now moving things in commerce. You need to have a commercial driver's license. You need a medical card. You need a commercial driver's license. You need all that stuff. We had to call up Enterprise and send a guy with a CDL to come out and take the truck back. We got there, and my co-driver, who was with the stuff crew, said, what are we going to do? I said, well, okay, well, guess what? Now you're the driver. And I said to Enterprise, give us another contract. Tear up the old one. Give us another contract. And my co-driver said, what are we doing? And I said, we're moving a bunch of stuff from Grandma's barn to my house. I rode as the co-driver. What it was like, I took off the shirt and I took off the tie. And I said, I'll mess my hair up. Okay, never mind that. We made it. We got out to Pittsburgh. But ever since then, we've been very, very careful how we move our stuff. One of the issues we had was, how do we get this increasing amount of equipment onto the truck? I have a PhD in science. I can fix this. By the way, if you've heard this story before, go get yourself a drink. It's the same story. What are we supposed to do? I had a great idea. We're going to get a bunch of carts on wheels. And we'll put everything on the carts and we'll just roll the carts onto the truck. And in order to keep the stuff from rolling around, I bought these like FAA style wheel chocks intended to keep like freaking commercial aircraft in place. We'll put these under the wheels and it'll keep all the carts in place. You've heard this story, I can tell. We started out, I was driving with Cryo. Some of you guys may know Cryo. We were driving along the turnpike, and we're talking about shit, and we heard, did you just hear some?
Sorry.
What's going? Cryo said, you better pull over. I said, no, we're getting it. Cryo said, pull the fuck over. Oh, okay. What the hell? We pulled over, and Cryo ran around to the back of the truck, and I heard the roll top door, you know. Cryo came up to the drivers. Your idea sucks! Okay. In my defense, it was a good idea on paper. Okay? In my defense, it was a good idea. But I was thinking in two dimensions. These wheel chocks will keep everything in place as long as there's no third dimension. And if you've ever ridden on the Pennsylvania Turnpike, there's lots of third dimensions. Because as soon as you hit a pothole, these carts would jump over the wheel chocks and become free-range carts. They had become free-range carts. They were free-ranging all over the back of that truck. And I said to Cryo, did any of them impact the side of the truck and damage it? And he said, oh, no, the box of light bulbs broke the impact. So they got rid of the wheel chocks, my contribution to this entire thing. The following year, we bought, somebody help me out, they're load bars, that's what they call it, load bar. Basically, it's like a giant metal bar that you put there and it stays. It's very, very elementary. It is called a load bar. Here it is. Nothing gets past it. And I told the truck rental company, I need a truck which is dock height. Right? Dock height. So we can roll shit on and off the truck. Okay. Nice. Apparently, the phrase dock height means something different to different people. I think this guy was from Canada because he was thinking metric dock height. Because when the truck got there, the truck was about 2 feet lower than the dock. So the poor logistics crew had to take these giant carts and offload everything then into the truck. While this was going on, this is at our storage facility in Pittsburgh, by the way. The lady who runs the storage facility, her name is Jen, and she is fantastic. I love her to pieces. I ran into the office and said, "Hi, Jen, I need to use your internets because I need to buy something." And I sat down at her computer and I went to the industrial supply website. I'm going to buy a fucking forklift. And I'm there, okay, fucking go, here it is. And I said, "Jen, can I have your phone? I want to have your phone." Okay, hello, industrial supply people. Yeah, I want a forklift. I want the best forklift you have because shit's happening here and you got to help me out. And they said, "Okay, we can sell you the amazing, super colossal platinum version suck my dick forklift." I said, "How much is it?" They said, $35,000. I said, "Okay, I don't want that. I need something smaller. I need like the Fisher Price My First forklift." And she sent me to a web page, and there it was. It was called a straddle stacker. I'll let your minds wander with that. It's called a straddle stacker. I said, "Yes, that's what I want. That's the forklift I want. Give it to me. That's to me. I want to have sex with that forklift." Hi, Jen. Forget you heard that, okay? I ordered that forklift, and they had it delivered the next day. The logistics crew fell in love with it. They named it Klaus. Anthracon's forklift was Klaus the forklift. And Klaus served us magnificently for 4 or 5 years. And on the logistics crew was Talon. Talon and Klaus, they were like Lassie and that kid who loved Lassie, whatever. I don't know what the fuck his name was. I can't remember. Timmy, thank you. Jesus Christ, I'm old. Anyway, Talon and Klaus were Timmy and Lassie, not in that order, but actually in that order. The problem with Klaus was Klaus had one of these giant lead acid batteries that had to be charged like every week. And the people at the storage facility were very good at trying to keep Klaus charged. Klaus occasionally died on us and we had to do like forklift CPR on him. But the day came. The day came. And I took Talon aside and I sat him down and I said, "Tal, we've sent Klaus to a farm in upstate New York where he can play with all of the other forklifts in the sun all day long." Excuse me. So Klaus is, if you meet Talon, Klaus is at a farm in upstate New York playing with all the forklifts. You all get it, right? Okay, let's keep that among us, okay? But, see, up until yesterday, I thought, oh, that's That's the biggest worry any convention chairman could ever have. Let's keep moving, shall we? You guys like money? I don't. You know why I don't like money?
Because you're cheap.
Yes. But there's another reason. When I first took over Anthrocon back in 1999, and some idiot out there was going to say, I wasn't even born yet, you fuck you, okay? Yes, I'm old, I know it. My first year as convention chairman, we're going to have a con store, okay. I'm going to need some change. $200 should be enough. So we had $200 in like $5 and $1 bills. Yeah, that lasted like 30 seconds. I learned my lesson. So the next year, I called up my local bank and I said, hi, it's Sam. It's small town Pennsylvania. I lived in a little town called Malvern. Everybody knew everybody in Malvern. I'm gonna need like $2,000 in freaking cash. I'm gonna need $1 bills, I'm gonna need 5s, I'll need 10s, I'll get enough 20s. Can you have this ready for me on this particular date? And she said yes. The lady at the bank said yes. It was a Saturday morning. I remember it was a Saturday morning. I woke up, hungover, I don't know why.
Saturday.
Very out of character for me. Pulled on the first thing that I saw in the closet. I pulled on my sweatpants and my sweatshirt. They're both black, they match. And picked up my nice big valise briefcase. Oh, hang on. I need the list of bills. So I went to the computer and I printed out the list. This is what I need. And I went stumbling down to the bank. And I showed up and I put the big briefcase there and handed the lady the note. And she just started putting piles of money into the valise. And I'm standing there. And I glanced outside and a bunch of police cars started pulling up. And I said, excuse me, what's that? And she looked out as more and more police cars are pulling up and she said, don't move. I said, I'm good with that. I couldn't move right now if you put 50,000 volts through me, trust me. She said, let me go talk to them. I watched her run outside. She opened the door, ran us, and she started talking to the cops. Now, what you need to understand is I was the emergency management coordinator for that town. Most of the cops knew me. And I saw them outside. Obviously, they got the wrong impression. And I saw them talking to her. I'm like, here it comes. They open the door and like, okay, yeah, all right, don't fuck with me, guys. Okay, I'm not in the mood. They made me get down on the ground, and they had their way with me. Which at my age, you take where you can get, trust me. So ever since then, getting enough cash to provide change to all you fine people is always a challenge. As Anthrocon got bigger and bigger and bigger, more and more, I'm getting like, the valise gave way to these giant suitcases filled with money that we're just walking into the damn convention center with. And somebody suggested, this probably is not optimal. It probably is not secure. They suggested we should contract with an armored car service. So we did. We contracted with an armored car service. I will not name them. I will simply call them Loomis. I just fucked up, didn't I? Never mind. Okay, we contracted with Loomis. Oh, Jesus. Somebody stop me next time, okay? Okay. It even says here, use any name but Loomis. Anyway, they would come and they would deliver a bunch of money, and at the end of the convention, they would pick up the money. Something happened in 2019. I don't know what. In 2019, my money guy was waiting outside, and he said, they're not here. So I called Loomis, and I said, dude, the fuck? I need to explain. I'm from Pennsylvania. Pennsylvanians have their own language. I will translate for you. In Pennsylvania, "da fuck" directly translates to, excuse me, I don't mean to kick up a fuss, but there's been an issue, could you kindly explain it to me? That's what "da fuck" means. Yeah, okay, we're clear? Okay. So I said, dude, "da fuck." And they said, well, we have you down for your money to be delivered on Friday. And I said, no, that won't do. That's going to be a problem. By the way, in Pennsylvania, that's going to be a problem means I am going to come and fuck you up. We all understand that? Okay. And they gave me trouble. They said, well, that's the best we can do. And I said, you don't seem to understand who you're talking to. Do you know who I am? And the lady said, did you forget? I'm going to give her that one. I'm going to give her that one. Okay, yes. She gets points for that. That was good, yes. She gets points for that. But I said, no, I need the money here now. And I don't mean now. I mean, I need the money here now when I first said now. Because we're starting shit down here and I really need you to give me the fucking money. By the way, that is Pennsylvanian for I need you to give me the fucking money. That's what that means. Well, the armored car showed up. And the driver said something that I thought was very telling. The driver said, that looked very strange to me because when I showed up early in the morning, it said, deliver to Anthrocon 11 o'clock Wednesday. But when I came back from my break, that had been crossed out and it had been changed to Friday. I thought that was very strange. And I said, that seems very strange to me too. Incidentally, that is Pennsylvanian for somebody's gonna fucking die. Okay, I know that I'm talking to a foreign audience and I'm trying to translate from my native language. I hope you all understand, yes? After the convention, I called up this group that I shall simply call Loomis. Really did fuck that up. Anyway, and I said, we had a little bit of an issue. We asked to have the money delivered on Wednesday, and then something happened, and it said it's not going to be delivered till Friday, and I had to kick up a fuss. I just want to make sure this is not going to happen again. And the lady wrote back, and she said, our records show that your money was delivered on Wednesday. Oh. Yes, okay. It was. Thank you. I'm just I'm just curious because the money was delivered on Wednesday, but we had this whole, it's not going to get here till Friday, and I had to kick up a fuss and use the Pennsylvanian language to have the money delivered on Wednesday. I just want to make sure this is not going to happen. And she wrote back, and I quote, "I don't see what the problem is. You got your money on Wednesday." I could show you the email. That's exactly what it said. And I wrote back, "Thank you for the information," which is Pennsylvanian for "we're done." I contacted another company which I so simply call Sphinx. I contacted Sphinx and I said, "Hi, I want you to handle my money from now on. It's very, very simple. You're going to bring me a giant box full of money, and then after the convention, I'm going to give you that money back. Easy." They said, "No problem. Contact your bank," which is PNB. Yes, PNB. "And tell them to change from Loomis to Brinks." Fuck me. Change from Boomis to Sphinx. We're good with that? Yeah. I'm talking Pennsylvanian. You're going to have to translate in your minds. So, I went to PNB. The lawyers in the back saying, "Shut up, shut up, shut up, shut up." I went to PNB and I said, "Hi, I want to change from Boomis to Sphinx." And they said, "Okay, we need your number." I'm sorry, come again? "We just need your number." "Oh, well, okay, here's my cash management account number." She said, No, we need your number." I said, "Miss, I'm a little bit confused. I don't know what you're talking about. I have my cash management account number." And she said, "Well, without your number, we can't do anything." I said, but okay, maybe we need to back up. I don't understand what you're talking about. No one's ever asked me for the number before." And she said, "Well, let me put you on hold." You know that thing when you're on hold and you keep looking at the phone, and after 15 minutes you look at the phone, it's not connected anymore? Yeah. Well, it just so happens that I live about a 7-minute walk from a PNC. What did I call it again? From the bank, yes. I live about a 7... Okay, note to self, don't pre-game before story hour at Apricon, okay? I blame this programming staff here. Anyhow, I live about a 7-minute walk from a PNC... Oh, shit. Reset your minds, that didn't happen. From a PNB, thank you, from a PNB bank branch. I'm really in trouble. Anyway, keep moving. And I walked up to the PNB bank branch, thank you, yes. And I said, "I want to change my armored carrier from Boomis to Sphinx." Thank you. Maybe I should keep this over here. Yeah, we're gonna... Okay, there we go. I'm gonna... We'll figure that out. Anyway, so she went tappity, tappity, tappity. Okay, I'm going to put in a work order to change that for you. This will take usually 48 hours. This is Friday. Call them on Tuesday and make sure it's been done. So I waited until Tuesday and I called up the cash management people and I said, "Hi, this is Anthracon calling." Yes. I just want to make sure that my cash management has been changed from Boomis to Sphinx.
Yay!
And they said, "Well, it's showing as Boomis." I said, "Yeah, no. I have a work order. I have a work order number here. Could you look this up, please? Work order number. And the lady said, "Please hold."
Oh no!
I called back after 10 minutes when I noticed we'd been disconnected. "Excuse me. I just wanted to double check. I wanted my cash management changed from Boomis to Sphinx." And the lady said, "Didn't you just call?" And I said to her, "This is going to be fun." Excuse me, out of curiosity, have you ever heard of Uncle Kage's Story Hour? You're now part of it. So she looked it up and she said, "We're showing that work order was canceled."
What? Oh hell no!
That's exactly what I said. "What do you mean canceled?" And she said, "Well, it means that somebody took the work order." I know what canceled means, thank you. Who the fuck canceled it? She said, "Well, you did." I said, "I didn't. Honest. I mean, yeah, I drink a lot, but I have never been so fucking drunk." Okay, who canceled it again? Never mind, I'll tell you what, let's uncancel it. She said, "Well, I can't do that. That has to be done by your customer service contact." I said, "Who is my customer service contact?" She said, "Please hold."
Oh. Disconnected again.
I called back. I said, "Hi, this is Anthracon." And she said, "Didn't you just call?" I said, "Yes." She said, "Aren't you the guy that does Uncle Kage's Story Hour?" I said, "Yes, and you're part of it." And this is getting better and better. She said, "Apparently you don't have a customer service contact." I said, "Okay, that's nice. What do I do now? I am a lost little lamb, wandering in the wilderness with an AK-47, looking to murder the first person I come across, and you're looking really very juicy to me right now." I didn't actually say that,
But in your mind.
but I did, and that was the problem. Because sometimes I just can't help myself. She said, "Well, I'm going to put in a work order to change your customer service contact." By the way, this story can go on for another 3 hours, so I'm going to cut to the chase. When we cut to the chase, they told me everything's taken care of. It's all set. The day before Anthracon, my money guy was standing out of the corner, and I got a phone call from Sphinx saying, we contacted the bank and they said they won't give us your money because your carrier is Boomis. Oh. At that point, remember I was talking about Talon and Cryo, my stuff crew? They're sitting in the logistics office. I basically went and kicked the door open, said, get the car keys, we're going for a drive. Oh. Now, at this point, I wish that we had filmed this. This would have been YouTube gold. I'm going to ask you to picture in your minds the mental image, the scene of this car parked with the front wheels up on the curb in front of a local PNB bank with the passenger door open and me running out with my lab coat crammed full of cash saying, I got it, let's go, go. I am not making this up. I swear on my mother's grave, I am not making this. I don't have to make this shit up. I wish I could make this shit up. This is my life. It's why I look the way I do. You know, I'm 28 years old. But I'm belaboring the point. There's a lot of stories on here. We did eventually get the money, but I'm just going to say, if you go to Anthrocon this year, we're going cashless. Don't bring cash. Fuck you. Bring your card. Thank you. What else can I talk about? It's okay. It's even in bold. It says PNB, and it's anyway. We had a wonderful guest of honor a number of years ago, Tom Minton. Tom Minton was the head model for the Brain on Pinky and the Brain, if you remember Animaniacs in years past. And when I say he was the head model, he was not the head model. He was the head model. Because Tom's head looked exactly like the Brain's. So yeah, he was the head model for the Brain. But you'll see his name in the credits. He was our guest of honor at Anthrocon. And I always try to greet our guests of honor civilly, because Anthrocon, we try to set the help me here. Thank you. We try to set the example for the other conventions. We try to be professional. We try to put the best face on the fandom. Mr. Minton had arrived. He was sitting in the lobby, and I walked up to him and I said, Mr. Minton, so very pleased to meet you. My name is Dr. Samuel Conway. I am the chairman of Anthrocon. I would like to be the first to welcome you to our little gathering here and to welcome you to furry fandom. Everybody's looking forward to seeing you, and we're very, very excited to meet you. If there's anything you need, do let me know. He looked up at me and he said, my God, they were right. You do talk like Mr. Peabody. Do I? I guess. Okay. I'll take that as a compliment. It's really, really great meeting the guests that come to Anthrocon, because these days they tend to be folk coming from Hollywood. They're the pros. They're the big names and such. But furry fandom is something very, very different to them. They are entering a new world. I'd like to say a better world. They're coming from a world where they've got to be surrounded by security and everything. It's not necessary at a furry con. They say, what do you want me to do? And I say, I want you to go have fun. I want you to enjoy yourself. Welcome to our world. You didn't realize it, but you've been a part of it. These are your people. Enjoy your time with them. And it didn't really strike me how different this fandom is from all of the other fandoms out there, until one particular guest, the particular guest who asked me not to mention his name, and I'm not going to because that's underlined. I'm not going to screw this one up.
We'll just call him Fuzzy for now.
We'll just call him Mr. Fuzzy.
Mr. Fuzzy.
Yes, Mr. Fuzzy, one of our luminary guests. Mr. Fuzzy was sitting with me at Anthrocon Tonight, our talent show, our showcase, you get up there and do shit show. And we were sitting there. Mr. Fuzzy was sitting on my left, Alkali was sitting to my right. And an act came up, this young fellow came up there, oh my gosh. As a stage performer myself, my heart went right out because I could tell this kid had stage fright. And I don't just mean like butterflies, paralyzing stage fright. This kid was terrified. He got out there, and you could see his knees shaking. And he took the microphone and he said, and he dropped the microphone and ran off the stage.
Aww.
I want you all to remember that reaction right now. Because I looked at Alkali, Alkali patted my knee and said, let's go do this. We went backstage and we found the kid and we said, okay, listen. It happens to all of us. I'm terrified. That's why I fucking drink, for Christ's sake. Okay, don't worry about it. And we calmed him down, we comforted him. And the thing was, for us, that's Friday. That's furry fandom. That's what we do. I didn't realize what an impression we had made on our luminary guest. Because that luminary guest went on to social media and said, I saw the most incredible thing. This kid was terrified and ran off the stage, and nobody laughed, and the chairman of the convention got up to comfort him. This was remarkable to our guest. And I talked with him afterward, and he said, that was unbelievable. I said, no. That's furry. Welcome to our community.
Woo!
How much time do I? They have this wonderful timer here so I can see how much time I have. And I've got all this shit going on here. There's, no, that's too long. I already talked about Klaus, right? Yeah. I talked about PNB. Yep, it's even underlined. I can tell you about Euroference. Some of you might have heard this story before. If you've heard the story, it's great. Go out, get a drink. I don't care, fuck off. Because, see, this is the thing. This is the thing about every storyteller throughout history. All of us share a common trait. I can remember every single event of my life. I can remember every story I've ever told. I just can't remember who I've told it to. So if you've heard it before, sorry. As the Canadians say, sorry, buddy.
Sorry. Sorry, boy.
Years ago, not so many years ago, my esteemed parents were approaching their 50th wedding anniversary. 50 years of marriage to the same person. And I sat down with them at dinner and I said, Mom, Dad, called them Mom and Dad, you tell me what you'd like to do. It's your 50th wedding anniversary. Your son, who is mildly successful in the field of science, will send you anywhere you want. You tell me which one. I thought, old people, Alaska cruise, Niagara Falls, something like that, Atlantic City casinos. Caribbean, yeah. No, they said, we want to go to Eurofurence. My parents were furries before it existed, remember? I was taken back. They said, we want to go to Eurofurence. I said, okay. So I called up on the telephone. That's how I used to do shit, right? I called up my counterpart in Germany at Eurofurence. If you don't know, the chairman of Eurofurence has the greatest name in furry fandom. His name is Sven Takeitoff. I swear to God, yes, the chairman of Eurofurence is named Sven Takeitoff. That's his name. I called up Sven. He goes by Cheetah. But there's so many cheetahs. He is cheetah.de, to separate him from cheetah.us, etc., etc. I called up Cheetah. And I said, my parents want to spend their golden anniversary at your convention. And he was excited. He said, oh my gosh, okay, I need these from you. I need a picture of your parents from when they were young and first dating, and I need to know what song they danced to at their wedding. Oh, you see where this is going. The picture's easy. That's hanging in my living room. What song did they dance to at their wedding? Well, I have been blessed with having a bit of education in something called competitive intelligence. How to get information out of people without realizing that you're giving them information. And it was taught to me to make me cognizant of when people are doing it. The screen has gone blank. Excuse me, do you know what time it is?
4:55. You got 5 minutes.
No! Do you know what time it is? Yes, I know what time it is. You just gave me information. You see how it works? Okay, it's a very simplistic thing, but that's how it works. My little old mom, as much as she is a frail, tiny, white-haired old lady, yeah, I'm sorry, I was screwing with you, sorry. I upset the AV crew, I'm sorry. Let's be honest, she used to ride with a motorcycle gang in the 50s. Woo! And she was working at a little sandwich shop just to make some extra money at lunchtime. And she had her own fan club. These late to middle-aged businessmen would come down to get their sandwiches because they wanted to talk to little old Wilma at the sandwich shop. So I went down and I was talking with a fan club and I started telling them about her less than necessarily stellar Disney princess past in the 1950s, some of the shit that I know. And she didn't want me sharing this information, so she started throwing things at me, increasingly heavy things. She threw the soup tureen at me and I ducked. And I said, oh, for Christ's sake, lady, get real. When you got married, you danced to Wild Thing. And she said, that's not true. It was Red Sails in the Sunset. I said, oh, is that true? The sunset. I sent that to Cheetah. With the help of Furry Fandom, we got my parents first-class tickets to fly across the Atlantic to attend Eurofurence in Nuremberg at Nuremberg Castle. Whoa. Here's what you need to envision. At the end of a musical performance by the eminent Heather Alexander, now Alexander James Adams, I took my parents out onto the battlements of Nuremberg Castle to look out over this medieval city. And it was less than 10 minutes while I was showing them this scene. After 10 minutes, one of the staff members came out, gave me what we used to call a high sign. And I brought my parents back in. In that 10 minutes, they had enlisted the entire membership of Eurofurence. They had cleared the chairs out of the Great Hall. They had laid down a dance floor. And every attendee of the convention was surrounding the dance floor, each one holding a lighted candle. And that picture was projected on the wall. And I led my mother and my father out onto that dance floor, and Cheetah at the sound booth started playing Nat King Cole, singing Red Sails in the Sunset, and they danced, just as they had 50 years previously. Now, after this was done, I got my parents first-class train tickets overnight to Paris. We spent 3 days in Paris. I showed them all of the Paris sights. Well, anyway, we were around Paris. It ended with dinner in the Eiffel Tower. At sunset, overlooking the city of Paris, dinner in the Eiffel Tower has cost me a fuckload. But today, to this day, if you ask my little old mom about her 50th wedding anniversary, the one thing she wants to talk about, the most meaningful thing to her, was the dance that she had by candlelight surrounded by furries in a German city that she'd never visited before. That's what I want to leave you all with tonight. If you have ever needed evidence that you all are the most remarkable, spectacular people that ever walked the face of the earth. Thank you very much for your kind attention. I'm sorry, yes? You may make a request. We'll leave it to the... Yes, what is your request?
My request is...
Yes, I'll tell you what, hold this.
Sounds good. So, MCFC has a policy of holding on to our con swag for a couple of years and trying to sell it up in con store. We have exceeded that on a couple of items, a lot of items, and I don't want to store them in my basement anymore. So after this wonderful presentation that you have just enjoyed from Mr. Conway here, Doctor, sorry.
Get it right!
I invite you to go over towards Sponsors Lounge and find yourself a shirt or a hoodie or whatever is left at this point, and it's free.
Ooh. Excuse me, free, could you define that, please?
As in you don't pay for it.
You mean you just take the shit and walk away with it?
That is correct.
That's the Detroit way.
Too true. So, ladies and gentlemen, please do so orderly. But there are places out there with shirts and hoodies. Once it's gone, it's gone. Sponsors Lounge, the other side of the main lobby.
Silver Gato Man, he bought me a coffee. Silver Gato Man, here is the song for thee. He likes to video all the panels at the cons. You should go and watch them whether they are short or long. Silver Gato Man, you video that's not a jibe. All of you go to his YouTube channel and like and subscribe.